For the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, Nigeria has been having challenges that are beckoning and waiting for answers and solutions. That is why we are bringing to you our program, State of the Nation. And this is going to come up on our flagship program this morning on ITV. I am hereby inviting you to join me, Bola Bakare, your host, on State of the Nation, so that we can hasten the motions that brings national development. It's going to be a regular basis on Tuesdays. Make it a date with me. I'll be there waiting for you, and then we shall discuss Nigeria on an holistic level.
Welcome back from our short break, and our guest is still here, Dayo Omogun. Before we went on that short break, you were busy trying to give us a baseline intro into what the government should do and shouldn't do.
Exactly.
Can you go ahead from that?
Yeah, so I was saying that government needs to get faithful to its promises. It's no use making promises that you cannot deliver. Sometimes they know from the outset that these promises we're making, we're not going to be able to fulfill it. So why make such kind of promises? But when you eventually make promises, please do all it takes to fulfill those promises, because you see, lives depend on it. The sector, the education sector, depends on it. And I think this also goes back to the budget limitations that we have. Worldwide, it's been agreed that education generally around the world should take about 26% of the budget. But if we're not going to do 26%, we really truly need to up our game in this.
Are you saying our 13% is abysmal?
Do we have up to 13%, first of all?
We do.
Good. Now, I think that that's not enough. I think that we can go to like 15, 16, 17. Why? Because, you see,
doesn't that sound like work in progress to you that we're moving there?
No, I don't think so. How long has it taken us to get to the 13%? For a billion-dollar petrol nation, how long? See how long it has taken us to get to 13%. And so what comes across to the person, to any very watchful observer, is that we're not taking that sector seriously. We're not. See, look at it again. Part of what ASUU is asking for is development in the sector. What we have right now is largely growth. Because what we have is more quantitative than qualitative.
How can you explain that when you talk about quantitative and qualitative?
When you talk about development, you're talking about both qualitative and quantitative increase from one level to the other. Now, when you talk about growth, you talk mainly of quantity. Now, so I'm saying, in fact, recently they just approved another, the establishment of some new universities again. That's growth, quantity. But go to these universities. Some people who have engineering, who do engineering courses, will not go through any practicals throughout their 5-year term and 5-year stint.
How possible is that? Is that possible? How possible is that?
Yes, but, just yesterday somebody was talking with us and revealed that in a polytechnic, in Kaduna, someone did agricultural engineering, and for the entire time, the only time he had a practical was when he drove the tractor, and maybe he drove it from here to the other end, and then he drops it at that other end for another student to drive back. That's the practical for 5 years. No, so these are some of the things that ASUU is asking. Go around schools, you will see halls that have no chairs. Insufficient, as basic as chairs are, they are not enough.
Can I ask you this, at this juncture? One of the things some school of thought has been saying is, how come ASUU cannot generate IGR? IGR can come in front of grants, in terms of multinationals, via CSRs of those multinationals, can come where what you can think about and do within those campuses. Because some people are saying campuses are like estates. They have the biggest land space. What are you doing in those spaces? If you are coming into Abuja and you watch Nasarawa University, you will see a fence for 4 kilometers. A fence. University fence for 4 kilometers. How come they are not using what they have to get what they want without not relying too much on government?
I'm
not saying they shouldn't rely on government.
I think that's a solid point. and in various fora, I have also advocated. Not necessarily, you see, a lot of the schools already are doing something. I think what needs to be done is to put an eye on what they do. What I'm saying is, most universities today have bakeries, they have lodges, hotels, they have farms, they have table water plants, and all that makes a whole lot of money. So first of all will be, where does this money go? Who
are you querying?
No.
They generate money and then the money is being kept for themselves.
We don't know. We cannot be too sure.
And when you talk about somebody should check, who should be doing the checking?
I think that the ministry should have an oversight on that.
Okay.
Yes, I think that the Ministry of Education should have an oversight on that. Because I believe that if you look at the population on campus, both resident and non-resident, people who come in and just go out, and the students who live in, and then lecturers who live in the quarters and all that, you can imagine the amount of water that is consumed on a daily basis. Think about the bread. Think about the cattle in the farm. Think about all other kinds of produce on the farms. See, I believe that a whole lot can be generated from there.
Let me ask you,
see, we need to get to the point of accountability in that area.
Good.
Yes, but again, beyond that, you also mentioned grants. Grants, a lot of times when they come, are assigned. They are specific
for a
particular project. So it may not be something that you can take and go and spend on just any other thing.
No, but ASUU can also source for that and direct it to a particular project.
Yes, I agree.
At least to solve the infrastructural issues that we have.
Usually are for research. Most of the time. Those grants are tailored to take care of
research.
Yes.
Okay, at this juncture, please let us take a quick break and then we'll be back.
All right.
Before we went on that short break, you said something in terms of some of these universities, they are into businesses that are lucrative, water, manufacturing, bakeries, and the rest of it. And I wanted to interject you then, but I might as well say it now.
Right.
The VCs are the CEOs of universities and rectors in polytechnics.
Yeah.
I guess they should be the ones that will do that oversight function in terms of monetary values. But at the same time, give us your own perspective when it comes to all these monies that are being accrued to them. Do they think we don't know? Do they think the federal government doesn't know? And does this affect the federal government in terms of the demands they make and the federal government does not respond?
You know, even as you ask now, what just came to my mind is that if you ask me, it's actually the fault of the government. If I give you an estate to manage, and I begin to see kiosks in the estate that was not part of the design, then I begin to see some other kind of businesses crop up. And I say, oh, I'm okay with it. It's not endangering anybody. It's helping the system. But then this was not part of the original plan. So if these additional things have generated income, where are the incomes? And then maybe the schools and then the government can now come to a middle ground and say, okay, this is how much we have. Because
so you can lower the demand.
Yes, so that it can reduce the pressure on the government. But be sure, I can also say that I believe that whatsoever it is that they gather will cater in terms of what their needs are, really. But there's still a need to ensure that that which they gather, that which they generate, are properly accounted for and properly deployed.
Of course, because pennies make up pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't gather the pennies, you can't get a pound.
Little drops of water make the mighty ocean.
That's it.
So that's very critical. It's very crucial. Look at it. There are some of these universities who even run the transport system in their campuses.
Yes.
That's money, a whole lot of money.
Yes.
They are close to, I mean, you can liken them to some small local government areas. I mean, that's money. These are the same sources by which some local government councils make money. transport, all these small licenses, this and that, and market tolls and all that.
Medium scale enterprises within the campus.
And within the campuses, you have shops, you have supermarkets, you have barbing salons and all that.
Where they collect money for rent.
They generate some money from there. And so there are farms, they sell cattle, they sell whatever it is that they produce there. And then some of them even, I hear, have diagnostic centers
for lab tests.
That's money. That's regular, steady money. And then in Unilag, for example, there's a popular Unilag lodge. Many people come to town and they choose because, I mean, the environment, the ambience is beautiful, is friendly, is by the sea. The particular lodge is by the lagoon. And so people come to town specifically choose to go lodge in that place. That's money. So where do those monies go? Then beyond that, the schools must also begin to find ways and means of generating real money by associating with manufacturers, bringing out ideas that can bring money and then supporting, asking for finances. If you go read the history of a lot of universities abroad, these are the major ways by which they make money, real money.
Absolutely.
So we need to get to that point because clearly, we're going to get to the point now where most people are already saying, well, maybe it's time to increase school fees. But you see, the burden that parents already bear is huge. The burden that guardians already bear is huge.
It's huge.
Now, so when you want to put more on them, how are they going to really? But you see, again, it's a pull and push thing. On this side, the schools also need a lot of money to run. They need a lot of money to run. And then they're not getting the money. So where is the money going to come from if the campuses are
now that you talked about
a real challenge?
Now that you talked about universities generating real money for themselves, schools generating real money for themselves, in the course of the strike, there were some persons that were actually advocating that the education system should not be, especially public government-owned institutions, should not be 100% run by government, that it should be like a private-public partnership kind of thing.
Yes.
Now, what's your take on that? Do you think Nigeria should go this way?
I think that it's about time we begin to adopt that measure, that strategy, because what it will mean is that the pressure on government will be less, and then whenever private funds are, a lot of times are a lot more efficient. There's no private organization, private entity that wants to put its money and allow the money to go down the drain.
Without a return on
investment.
No,
they will not do it.
There has to be a return on investment.
They must see where their money is going into, and it must bring return on investment. So I think that might be a saving strategy for the sector.
So are we not forgetting something? Nigeria also has a large population of people living with poverty.
I alluded to that.
So the poverty.
I alluded to that a while ago. But you see, I think that if the price is reasonable, I think that most parents will do anything to put their children through school. If the price is reasonable, and if they can be sure that, there's this thing they say, I don't know whether to.
You want to throw in the party? Go ahead. Yeah. As a senior one.
There's a way. Maybe you're the one to remind me now.
No, I will say it.
To Lojo.
Okay.
I'm lost here. So what does it mean?
It's a situation that has a time frame. It's before you know it, it's over now. If a parent knows that in 4 years, whatever it takes, if I have to sell tomatoes, if I have to, whatever I need to do, but I'm sure that in 4 years I'll be through.
But are you also aware, even as the way things are now, there are parents who are actually selling the tomatoes, selling their wrappers to meet up?
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying. Now, when we decide to go into this,
make it worse, because now what they thought they were going to do for 4 years,
they are now, it's been extended. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I mean. Most people, in fact, you will be shocked to find out that there are women training their children all by themselves, and going through whatever, and they just set their minds to it. In 4 years, I'll be free. But then 4 years becomes 5, becomes 6,
becomes 7, in some cases 10.
Exactly. It will be better to increase a 50,000 naira fee to like 75,000 naira.
And the 4 years,
sure that 4 years
and the 4 years is 4 years.
Exactly. It's better that way.
Let me throw you another curve here. There was a school of thought based on the element of finances and the economics in the universities. There was a time when all these ASUU members were running inferences to state government, universities and polytechnics that they are on because of this, that the funding is different. They ran inferences to private universities that, okay, they charge exorbitant fees while they don't. But this school of thought said one thing. It is the government that put up the land, the infrastructure, the world, everything on those campuses.
Yes.
All you did was you came with your suitcase and your brain. And now you are asking for parity between you and somebody who invested his money, resources. Basically, there shouldn't be a parity. Shouldn't they think along those lines that I did not bring any investment here, shut off my brain, which I'm being paid for?
I would not take that wholesale. I would not take that wholesale because
why? Take it to retail.
Because look at it this way: if you put those beautiful, magnificent buildings there, and those people do not come with their brains and their bags and their suits, it's still not a school.
They will come because that is their vocation.
No, but
you have a job, don't you? You have a job.
Yes.
You have to go to that job to feed your family.
But I'm saying,
but the truth of the matter is that there's no basis for comparison.
They will come because it's their job.
Let's take it a step at a time.
Go ahead.
Now, suppose they do not come. It's not a school. They're just empty buildings. So that value that they bring must be properly compensated.
Agreed.
But again, the point is that you cannot definitely compare between the two.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't compare between the private and let's not even forget the fact that these private schools charge exorbitant fees and all that. It does not mean that they have El Dorado on their campuses. It does not mean that they don't have their challenges, or that the lecturers exactly, or that the lecturers are satisfied and everything. That's the difference between public service and private service. The truth is that if you go on strike in a private university for 1 month, you may very well have kissed your job goodbye.
Goodbye from there. Just be going. Don't come back.
Just be going. But you see, there is what do they call it now? Security of tenure, job security in the public sector. They may not earn so much, but they can be sure that no matter what, it will take. I mean, you must have really misbehaved for you to be chopped out. So they enjoy that. So, but in truth, they cannot operate at the same level. And come to think of it, some of the private schools we're even talking about, their infrastructures are also beneath standard. Imagine that.
But the government still allows them.
Exactly. So it behoves of government now to say, look, you charge this amount of
you have commensurate infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly. Please. I mean, there are visitation panels. There are people who go around. NUC, yes. So they should ensure that if they charge so much, then they should even have top of the bar level of infrastructure.
But some of them are doing good with the rate.
Yeah, some of them
some of them are doing good.
We don't necessarily mention
of course.
We know 1, 2, 3, 4 that are very good, but the prices are also
very good.
Very good.
Now we're saying this is a conditional suspension of strike,
yes.
And like that lady said that she's praying for this not to happen. In your honest opinion, do you think we're not going to see this? Because I keep saying this. There was a joke on social media one time that a child asked his father that was ASUU. The father told him that it is an annual festival in Nigeria. That's abroad. So it is an annual festival in Nigeria. So are we, do you think we're going to see something like this?
See, I think that if federal government is sincere enough to take advantage of this small space and pay the lecturers their monies, I think that it's going to take some time before ASUU goes on strike again. You know why? I was just thinking about it over the night and all that, and I came to the conclusion that it's going to be for some time. There will be a reasonable period of time that will be like when we had the Cold War. Right. Where you had
all parties, they
shoot the sword, because if you go, then this guy is likely to crush you. You don't know the level of his arsenal. You don't know, because when the strike started, nobody could have thought that ASUU will hold it for 8 months, and nobody could have expected that the federal government also would allow the thing to run this far. So now it's like two wrestlers, two persons. They know now that, look, that's not somebody you can just...
There's a stalemate here.
Exactly. You can't ride roughshod over the other party. So I think that for some time we may enjoy, especially if they can just please settle their personal emoluments for now, and then also program how they're going to take care of the facilities in universities, how they're going to pay the revitalization fund and all that. But I do not foresee for the entire first year, I mean next year, I do not foresee another strike. Again, part of it is this.
I will write this in my diary.
Yes, please.
On this day.
Please,
on this
that I
day.
said it today. It might just come out prophetic. Now, so I'm saying, because when a new government comes into power, many times most labor organizations give them some breathing space.
Yes.
They say, well, okay,
Let's
allow them to settle and
let's not
see what they will do.
Let's not derail their program. So the entire 2023, I mean, I publish a magazine, and in one of my columns in this year, I wrote there that there were going to be plenty strikes this year. I knew, because you see, part of it is that a lot of the labor organizations also, they target the election cycle. They look at it and say, oh, they are going to be going to the campaign.
That's when they can.
Yes,
it's just because there's no time. If not, I would have asked that if they are targeting election period. So, what is the sincerity of purpose in all of this?
No. Because you see, you in fighting, in strategy, you want to look at the best time,
the weakest link.
When your opponent
even at the detriment of millions.
Well, they didn't think of
students.
You can go and check. Most of those people never thought that this thing will last this long. They just felt, oh, let's take this up, and in maybe 2 months, this will be over. That's what I thought.
But brother, it's like with time is we're trying to wind down now.
Yes.
But let me revert back to what you said earlier and what we in the media we've been conversant with.
Yeah.
As of 2009, the request for us from ASUU was 1.2 trillion.
Okay.
As we speak, from all indications of the arrangements they've made, the Speaker of the House had a good meeting with them.
Series of meetings.
A promise of about 400 million is coming from that end. 400 billion is coming from that end. The federal government has 50 billion in the budget for 2023 for them. And there is another promise of 200 billion in the offing. If you add all these three together, it comes to about 650 billion. Are you foreseeing a way or a case where the negotiations have been fruitful enough for 1.2 trillion in 2009, which according to economics should have been maybe 2 trillion as we speak, has been negotiated down to 650 billion? What do you foresee here? Bearing in mind what you said earlier, that there has to be sincerity of purpose.
Yeah, you see, like I said before, again, I think that sincerity is very key. We have agreements all the time, and when you look at it and say, this thing, I thought, I expected, my projection was like this, like this, but it didn't work that way. Can we please listen and rejig? Can we please rejig? Can we please, please, because you see, I do not see I'm going to be able to sustain this. I'm going to be able to afford this. Once there is sincerity, I mean, you can't be telling your debtor that you don't have money. Eh?
And then you
tell your landlord that you don't have money to pay his rent.
And you're putting a party
but then every month you bring a cow, and then you bring alcohol, and you
expect him to believe you.
And you expect him to flow with you. It will not work. So if there is sincerity, if there is management of resources, prudent management of resources across board, people will be able to stand and say, okay, I think this government is doing well. Let's give it them. So I believe that negotiating it down to 650, if that's what they're able to get for now, I don't
believe 650 is available, really.
Oh, exactly. So exactly, that's why I'm
because there was only 50 billion that was in the budget.
So I'm saying if they can even get that, that would be a good starting point.
That's good. That's good, my brother. Thank you very much. To you, our viewers, that has been Dayo Omogun.
Yeah.
The name says it all. Omogun in Yoruba means warrior.
Okay.
And he's been able to give it to us as it is, from his own perspective, from the perspective of the federal government, from the perspective of the Ministry of Education and all others. We've been able to learn. And all we're praying for as positive thinkers is the fact that we do not want the strike to recur in the nearest future, like some of our kids and students are saying out there. On this note, I would like to say one big thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
And then this thing is not going to end just like this.
Right.
When it occurs again, we're going to call you in, and then we'll share your insights.
I'll be available. I really cherish this opportunity, And I see it as my contribution to nation building, and I'll be here for you.
Thank you
so
very much. And from you, Purity?
Thank you.
Yeah, well, for me, I will say I will not want to witness any strike ever again, because I will not want to witness any strike again. Seriously. Let's work together to continue to make Nigeria great, right? Yeah.